Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, as we always do, we just want to thank you all for the support. Thank you for supporting In Search of Uhuru. With that being said, we are approaching 100K subscribers. 100K. We're almost at 91. And once we reach 100K, somebody out there, and Brother Sean, since you are a subscriber, you are eligible to enter to win. And I will ship to Israel, to where you're at. I will ship to where you're at. You are eligible to win Black Designer, okay, Tomlini, Real Snakeskin bag. So a lucky person out there will win this bag. I'll do a drawing, a raffle. You put your name in the hat. We pull the name out, and this could be yours. So, bam, there it is. Also, some crypto from our brother over at Lead Wallet, and then you'll get a postcard as well. In fact, when you super chat, you get a postcard. So I'm gonna leave a postcard right there. When you super chat, you will get a postcard just after you super chat. Send me your email because I got a ton of postcards. Send me your email me your address, and I will send you the postcard. So like, share, subscribe, family. Again, share the content. Go to dynastymirror.com. Join the email list. We leave for a week from today. We leave for Sierra Leone, and it's a blessing because a couple people on the tour are going to be receiving their Sierra Leonean citizenship. So I am looking forward to it. Again, I am looking forward to it. Cannot wait, family. I cannot wait. What else do we have on the agenda? Let's see here. But if you want to roll last minute, if somebody's out there and like, you know what? I want to roll to Sierra Leone. Last minute, I want to roll. Hit me up. Go to dynastymirror.com. Also, we are rolling to Nigeria August 16th through the 22nd. August 16th through the 22nd, we are rolling to Nigeria. We're going to Sierra Leone, leaving out of Chicago. I will be in Chicago Sunday. I will be in Chicago Sunday. I'm going to give me some Harold's chicken. See, they got Harold's out here in Atlanta, but I want to get the Harold's in Chicago. So I'm going to give me some Harold's. You know, there's this pizza spot that's supposed to be good. Give me try the pizza out. So, you know, when I arrive to Chicago, you know, I land 10 toes on the ground. Again, 10 toes on the ground in Chicago this Sunday. And as soon as I get off the plane, I'm just going to eat all the food. I want all the food. So there it is, family. How long are you guys in Africa this time? We're going to Sierra Leone. We arrive on the 20th, and then the tour ends on the 29th. Some people are going to stay longer. Some people are going to be returning back on the 29th, but the tour is over on the 29th. Excuse me. Me personally, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to Senegal or Cote d'Ivoire. So I'll be in Sierra Leone for a couple extra days. Then I'm probably going to go. I don't know where I'm going to go yet. Senegal or Cote d'Ivoire. Haven't decided yet. But without further ado, we have our brother who used to be Black Ambassador. Now he is Obstacles to Opportunities. You know, he had the name change, kind of like me. So, brother, Obstacles to Opportunities, we'll jump right into it. In fact, we got a great question in the chat room. You know, I want to jump right into it. So the topic is, should you own real estate in both Africa and USA? Or I hear some people like, no, cut all ties to America, just get your land in Africa. But we got a good question in the chat room. First of all, introduce yourself, your page. You know, sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Yo, shout out to everybody who's here, actually, you know, playback too. Yo, like the brother just said, obstacles to opportunity. So I kind of switched it up. Definitely have a whole new brand going on over there in the channel. I definitely want to provide people with a new ability to hotwire their mind and start seeing obstacles and turn them into opportunities. So most definitely, you could check out the channel. I dropped the link. We talk about real estate, travel, and we talk about stocks and everything else included. So once again, it's just a mental change. It's about providing you guys with information, equipping you guys with what you need to how to, whether that you decide to go invest overseas, that be in Africa, or decide to make something with the leverage you have in America also.
All right, so question we got in the chat room. Good topic with the eviction crisis and a sad twist of event people can come up right now. You want to address that?
Was there a question?
Well, I mean,
was that a statement?
My bad. Yeah, my bad. What are your thoughts on that statement?
It's life. It's life.
All right, it's life.
No, it's life. You know, I think we have to start to get very realistic about life. Yeah, I mean, if you go out into the wild, right now, what you're going to find is there's going to be some mammals inside a hole, right? They're chilling and they're relaxing with their family. Maybe they just gave birth, right? And they had a long day and they're starting to wind down. Maybe the mother and the father are just chilling, right?
I know where this is going. Did you say mammal?
Mammal, yeah, I said a mammal.
I know where this is going. It's going to have a very grim end, and I just.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and then the honey badger come through and just end that, you know.
Right.
And it's, you know, you could say, "Oh man, that's sad," you know. That's life, and then we're gonna have to get real, and we're gonna have to strategize so we don't find ourselves in a position where we feel like we're at disadvantage in such situations. So preparation is the key. But I understand what that person's trying to articulate. But okay, yeah, go ahead.
So should you cut if you plan on relocating to Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Should you cut all ties to America when it comes to real estate and just focus your real estate investments in Africa?
No, because even an African wouldn't do that.
Expand on
that. No, I was just saying somebody else from, you know, the continent wouldn't even do that. And plus, you know, it's called diversification. So I understand, you know, how people feel and experiences they had, and those are valid. And there's going to be experiences also in the motherland that people have, and they're valid also. But it's behooves of especially Black Americans or whoever that's in America to leverage their ability to finance property in America. Definitely what we call is like leveraging capital to accumulate money and accumulate assets. And then with that being said, if you want to further down the road, 10 years, you know, 20 years, whatever the case may be, is to sell that property off and then, of course, repatriate that money back to the continent or repatriate that money to United States of America, you can. And you'll be able to take a large portion of that money and buy what I would say, like the land that you want. You could buy a factory. So I wouldn't say that. There's great opportunities, and I want to actually get into that of breaking down the ability that we have in America to leverage property, whether that be the financing we're leveraging, meaning we're going to get that loan, right? We're going to go get the FHA, that 3.5% down, and then we're going to utilize the state benefit to basically pay no money down, and we're going to get into that property. We're going to rent out the other units. It's called a house hack. If we were very focused, then we could really get into there, tap into it, allow somebody to pay that property off, and then use that money and then repatriate it to the continent. I mean, how many people have you seen on Wadi Ma's channel, right? They left America and then they went to Africa and then they did what? Do you ever see like they went to go chill, they went to the movies, they went back to, no, it's usually they bought 20 acres and they started their own farm, right? They started building their own business. Yes, they leveraged the position from America to pay for that.
Pan-Africanism strikes back. Black people suffer because that's what we want to do. How can 3 women with children receiving government assistance be homeless? It makes no sense. I mean, Brandon, is that the topic? Brandon, Brandon, is that the topic? But brother, we appreciate the super chat, brother. We appreciate the super chat. So the argument is by some, well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you continue to own land here in America, right? So objection number one, who's going to maintain it?
Okay. That's all right. So we'll deal with that one, or do you want to lay them out?
No,
Okay.
we'll deal with it first.
Property manager. So you hire a property manager. The property manager is paid for their services and their so you don't get your aunt, you don't get your cousin. You don't want to do that anyways because they're not skill wise and legally they're not prepared to deal with the situation. Meaning your renters. So therefore, you want to mitigate your risk and you want to mitigate your liability, and then of course provide a product that's more effective and efficient, and that's being, the property that you're renting. So the management of that and the logistics, a property management service company will handle that for you. They have in-house software, they have in-house data, they have in-house videographers, in-house photographers, in-house, and the list goes on, right? They have an internal program that's going to collect the money. It's going to allow the people who are renting from your unit to go on their app and then say if they have a problem, take a picture of it, and then boom, maybe within 24 hours, they'll have somebody able to fix that at their door and available, right? So you would have to build out all those programs in yourself if you wanted to manage the properties yourself, right? And plus, then you'll be legally on the hook for things if there was some negligence. So you mitigate your risk by hiring other people to take care of that. And that's how you do it. So especially if you're going back to the continent, your property, you'll never have to even see it. I have friends here that do it, and they have property in Milwaukee. They've never been to Milwaukee. They never will go, but their property is managed by a property manager.
How's that experience working out for him? Because I heard horror stories.
Completely fine. Completely fine. But see, most of the time when we hear horror stories, we really don't. I mean, come on, it's almost like, let me not go there. But most of the time we hear horror stories, it's not someone being prepared to that level and that extent, right? And then even if you do tally up the horror stories, you have to still look at the massive amounts of people who are accumulating wealth across America via rental properties. Most of the millionaires that come from, let's say, regular backgrounds, not from inherited rich, is mostly through real estate. Real estate has been that vehicle to financial freedom.
All right. Shout out to Brother Brandon for the super chat.
And
for those,
you can fire them too.
True. All right. So for those who are on public assistance here in America, you think they should move to Africa and that public assistance will go much further in Africa?
I don't know how that works out, the public assistance and then them being in Africa. So I wouldn't be, what is it? I don't have enough experience and knowledge.
Hold on, let me address something real quick. So out of respect, if someone super chats, I pin their super chats no matter who it is. Like I just, out of respect for the person who took the time out to super chat. So you might not agree with Brandon, what he's saying, but again, he super chatted. So we're going to acknowledge his super chat and address his question. That's just how we roll over here. So, all right, go ahead, BA. Obstacles to opportunities. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no problem. So I don't know too much about the welfare distribution of those funds. I don't know what's the qualifications, so I'm not I'm not educated enough to speak to that.
Yeah,
talk to somebody who specializes in it.
I mean, because honestly, so I hear a lot of older people saying that they're going to move to Africa and draw their Social Security in Africa.
That's different.
Even though you might not respect what Brand is saying, I mean, that's somewhat of a legit question. Can you take your monthly public assistance, to Africa? So,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've always seen people take things like, their Social Security, and I've seen other groups of people just be like in random places like Thailand or something like that, right? And those guys are just living on Social Security. So Social Security, I could say, yes, you could do that. I do not know of any reason why you couldn't. But on the public assistance part, I don't know nothing about that. I'm not educated enough in that realm to speak to it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Mind, Body, and Soul TV. That's a dumb question. You cannot get a state welfare check outside the state, let alone Africa. Okay. All right. Well, there it is.
I guess there goes the answer.
That's the answer. Okay. All right. Brandon, it's not messy. You get welfare sent to an account every month. You can withdraw it from an ATM. It's not messy. It's a great idea. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. So another I would say objection to owning real estate in both places. Mm-hmm. So Black people protest that the system's against them. Protest the system's not for them. Protest about police brutality. Protest about lack of resources. Protest. But a lot of our own suffering that we protest about is funded through the taxes that we pay. So you might say the police system is shady, but your taxes that you pay, state and federal, funds these systems that have historically oppressed you. So why would you have anything here, pay taxes on it, when those taxes are going to go towards those institutions which have been against the that has been leading to our oppression? So what are your thoughts on that?
Say that to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had economics. He believed in economics. He did massive amounts of things that were seen as a marvel back in his time. But nevertheless, even if that's somebody's argument, okay, stop having a conversation with me and let's talk to people who are like-minded. That's it. I mean, they can say that. I mean, I don't have time to, argue against that. If that's their position and that's how they feel, okay. Dynas, are you trying to buy real estate? Yes. Are you trying to put renters in it? Because at the end of the day, like I said, you have to listen to what I said. I said we're putting renters into the property, and the renters are paying the equity, paying the property tax, paying the homeowner's insurance, and they're paying the principal and interest if you had a loan for it, and the capital expenditure if you properly budget. So at the end of the day, the person who's renting the property from you pays for all those expenses. You don't.
Okay.
So you're still not paying taxes.
Yeah, guys, hit that like button, please. Hit that like button. All right, Brandon. Okay. Oh, Dinah just said because it's illegal. Okay. All right. Okay.
So back to should you invest in real estate
both places,
in America or Africa? I think it's good to do both. Somebody might have a different type of investment strategy. It's completely fine. But I would just argue that, or not even argue, I would add to the conversation that there's massive amounts of leverage capital that we can use to gain property, meaning go get a loan, and then through getting the loan. See, the problem is, and this is why I told you before I wanted to talk about assets over liability, right?
Well, we can still talk about it. Go ahead.
Okay, bad. So what I was, trying to explain is this assets over liability. Now, most of us have been conned or we've been tricked and bamboozled. What did Plymouth Rock landed on us? Well, we've most been tricked to think that something like buying a single family home is an asset, and it's not. It's a liability. It's an expense you have to pay.
If I could interject, what if the value of it is going up?
Goodbye. That's it. So, you have to still buy into the liability. It's still an expense. At the end of the day, you're gonna have, let's say, I can't really do the sheet, but anyways, you have your income coming in, right? You're getting paid, whether that be a salary or whatever the case may be, right? You got your money coming in, and then it goes straight down into the expenses, and you're paying, like I told you, the property taxes, insurance, homeowner insurance, and the principals and the interest, right? Now, what you're talking about is appreciation. So that's
Right.
something external, not necessarily from the mortgage or the note that you're paying, the loan, right? So
Right.
you're paying that. You are paying into it. So Dinus, you got to go out there and make that money. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you better figure it out, and you better have that money, or you're going to default, and you're going to be about that property. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's the situation you're in, right? Now, when I said a single family, that relieves room for duplexes, triplexes, and quad, and we're going to keep it real basic. So those are where there's going to be another apartment, quote unquote. It's going to be another living space, right? Where someone else would live in. Like, you got a townhouse and you got a duplex, right? So the moment you, Dinus, don't go to work, it doesn't matter, because the person next to you is paying their rent. And then you're going to take that rent and you're going to pay down your mortgage. So now it's not so much a liability anymore. It generates cash revenue for you, not in those areas of growth in which you talk about appreciation and you pay down principal and you pay down, which is equity, right? That's a part of it, but I'm trying to give you a trifecta, right? I'm trying to get you to pay down the principal. Which is build equity, right? I'm trying to get the tax benefits, which you get from owning those, especially if you own a multi, you get more tax benefits and exemptions, right? And then also appreciation is one of them. And cash flow is another one. So you're getting cash flow, paying down principal, and those are four different compacted growth. So now you're getting paid monthly from renting it, right? You're paying down all that principal. You're having the appreciation, plus you have extra and additional property exemptions or tax exemptions. So that works 10 times better. So we've been conned to believe that the single family home is the gift of God. It's people be like, I own my own home. You pay to the bank, and the bank own the home. And then you got to go out there and work 9 to 5 and bring back home the money so you can pay down. So let other people chase dreams of single family homes. If we really had a strategy in Black America, that would be a strategy of multi-units. It would be a strategy of investing into properties that are more than just one unit, and not let everybody else chase those single family home dreams, and let us chase the wealth and where the true money is laid.
Brandon says, I'm sitting in my car on my own driveway. My family is visiting from out of town, and I really don't want to see them, and they've taken over my house. That's a liability. Brandon's a funny cat.
Yeah. So that's why I said, assets over liability. We really have to look for things that really accumulate and generate wealth. Even you going to Africa, are you a liability or an asset? And not just in a sense to the nation. What I'm just saying is, have you accumulated assets and have been able to put yourself in a position where you could go to the continent and then not only just, place your money into the market, which is good, but also be able to leverage those assets. Because even, case in point, because I have a certain amount of assets, I can get a permanent residence in South Africa. I could just apply right now and get it. I don't have to go there. I don't have to ask. I don't need the DNA stuff. Now, that's cool. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm just saying is, I just apply because I have the net worth and I have assets. So they're going to look at the sheet. They're going to say, okay, cool, good to go. You own these properties. Those are free and clear. Okay, bet. How much cash you got? How much stocks? How many bonds? Okay, bet. Put it all together. Oh, you meet our net worth. Here goes your permanent residence. That's it. And because the assets generate enough capital, there's another way where they can say, oh, you basically financially independent too. So you can get a permanent residency that way. One's like a retired, and then one's like, financially independent. So there's two routes. Both of them give you permanent residency. Both put you on the path way towards citizenship in South Africa. So boom, if you build yourself up like that, then you're able to go there and fly into the situation and not have to worry about litigation, immigration, and be out here championing X, Y, and Z. So
all right, comedic wealth. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Finish.
go ahead. Comedic one.
All right, Comedic Wealth says, I follow bro on YouTube. He has fire content, but property taxes in America makes it impossible to build generational wealth in America. It's ignorance.
Wait, property tax and what?
Property taxes in America makes it impossible to build generational wealth in America. It's ignorance.
Just because of property tax? Yeah, in some places have extremely high property tax, but once again, that's not all places in every single aspect of America. And like I said, if you're more so buying into, what do we say, multi-units, if you're buying into more than one unit, not a single family, then all that's going to be covered via the rent that you're getting from the tenants. So, and you map it out. And then there's exemptions, and then there's ways around the property tax, which most people just don't go champion. There's even companies that protest your property tax. You understand how to lower your property tax. And plus, your property tax is never the market value of the property. It's always something lower. And then you acquire, yeah, exactly. And then you go acquire a service and you protest your property tax and get it lower. Then, of course, you file for exemptions, homestead, right? Or maybe some disability. You have ways to go to figure it out. But to think, like, if the math is just, you see what I'm saying? People get maxed out when they move into the new development in Austin, right? And then the new development has to concede to the state because there's no infrastructure, right? So they have to charge the new development a 3% tax rate on property tax. Then people go in there and buy new single family homes, right? Where the joints is only maybe 800 square feet or maybe 1,200. And then they pay 300 or 400,000 for that piece of property. And then they put themselves in a new area, like I told you, because it's the new development area, right? And the property tax is extremely high. I told you to buy multi-units. I told you to buy things that will generate cash flow, right? I didn't say nothing about go buying a single family house in a new development with a nice, community gym and a nice pool. You feel me? So that's why people get caught up. And then they're like, oh, property tax is too much. Well, you moved into one of those development areas and you really didn't know what kind of concessions the developer had to give to the state or the county because of those, like I said, they have to build out the infrastructure, et cetera, because it's a new area in Austin that was never developed. You understand? They got to build out new schools, stuff like that. So don't do that. Move where I'm talking about. Move into the duplexes, the triplexes, and the quads, and then the renters pay for all that. And then plus, I told you, you get exemptions. You file your taxes every year, and you get exemptions for depreciation, cost segregation, all these big terminologies. But what I'm just saying is you got YouTube. Look it up. You can understand it. It's not that hard anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Another objection. With COVID, people didn't have to pay their rent or for this amount of time, and now people are refusing to pay their rent, and the eviction process is in favor of the tenants. What will be your
get out the north? Nah, so a lot of northern states are more so like that, which they would call like tenant or renter friendly.
And Cali.
If you go, it's just, forget about it. That's why people are moving out of Cali. Well, for many reasons, but nevertheless, if you go down south, where you talk about Texas, Georgia, right, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, all these other places, they're more landlord friendly, and plus you can look that up too. Now, even if you go to like an extreme place like Washington D.C., which is renter friendly like a mug, almost it's very hard in that situation. Once again, those are extremes, right? Those extremes, more people make money, more people make a profit, more people are in the black, more people gain capital and put themselves in a situation where they are able to acquire those assets than not, even with the pandemic, right? That's temporary. And if you still look at the statistics, the majority of people did not pay rent. It's not like all people across America didn't pay rent. That didn't happen. Some did, yeah. And then you had to work out some different deals for different ones. But like I said, if people wanted to be those people who want to really make a change, own property. Then you could have your own stimulus package, right? You
Right.
own 10 doors with 10 families in it. COVID breaks out. You can give a discount to all your people who live in your property and then write it off. And you ain't got to ask Biden or Trump for nothing. You just do it yourself.
Let's see here, guys. Hit that like button. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and open up the lines. If you'd like to call in and ask a question, again, if you'd like to call in and ask a question, send me an email at searchforahuru.com or searchforahuru.com. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to answer. I think it's DAI. What is it? DIALLO 224. Yeah. So they said, what about Airbnb rentals for single family homes? That's probably the smartest thing I've seen in the chat. No disrespect to everybody else, but that's okay. Definitely people who are already in that asset and it's hard for them to pivot and they don't have many exit strategies, then you can rent out your room. You can rent out the house if you want to entirely and you go somewhere else and do something. But that is a great way to turn a liability into an asset. I think there's a guy on Instagram, his name is CEO Maddie or something like that, but he talks about turning those liabilities into assets. And what he's really saying is taking those liabilities that you got, the car, single family home, clothes and things like that, and trying to figure out ways to make money off of it and not just let it sit there and just, drain on your resources. Since you already have them and there's not a great exit strategy from a car, right? Besides sell it for extremely lower value, right? Let's try to pivot and redirect that investment or that item we got and make it generate cash. So I believe that, if you have that single family, definitely consider Airbnb and share rooms, put some energy, put some money into one of the rooms, make it look really nice and try to rent out that room on Airbnb and the other platforms that's out there. Also, Airbnb is not the only one.
Here we go.
And
go ahead. No, go ahead.
And if you guys want to do that, then go to AirDNA. That's AirDNA. And that's kind of like a website that you can utilize. And then that website is going to provide data that you need to understand the market and where your house is and basically what type of properties that are similar to yours. What are they renting for? How many days are they available throughout the year? It's going to give you all the information that you need for due diligence and to make a smart decision about what's your marketing strategy and what you're going to do with your property.
Mm-hmm. Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Also, lines are open. If you'd like to call in and ask a question, send me an email at searchforahuru.com or searchforahuru.com. Please send me an email and you're more than welcome to call in and ask your question. Somebody said you can also use your home for corporate housing. That's a great idea.
There you go. See, look, we get to generate some good ideas. So those are great. Those are, once again, taking that obstacle and turning it into an opportunity. And whether it be the single family example for the Airbnb or the corporate home office or the housing, those are both good suggestions and adding to the, building. We want to build. So we want to figure out how to do that. Go ahead.
Let's see what else we have here in the chat room. How many of y'all are willing to start your own property? STR. I don't know.
Talking about that. That's the funny part. Like, we got people who want to do. I'm not speaking to anybody, but I'm saying you got people doing short-term rentals in Africa. You're not going to do a short-term rental in America too while you're at it?
Yeah.
It's called diversification. That's it. You mad? All right. Chill out. Now let's think about what the strategy is going to be and how we can have our exit strategy, not just I'm pulling the plug. And you can do that too, because people are going to do that. All right, cool, whatever. But what I'm just saying is that I know that, case in point, my or the state that my family has had, my great granddaddy has gotten. At a certain point, I'm going to pour money into it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not up to date. It's very dated, meaning it's old, right? So if I pump around like $50,000 into it, given its size and the quality of renovation I'm trying to do, if I put $50,000 into it, I'll get appraisal value, maybe $100,000 or $150,000 out of it, especially where the market is now, right? And then, yeah, I'll sell that quarter of an acre of land and that property that just increased almost, I owe 2x my money I invested, plus the money on top of whatever it's worth, sell it for $400,000, right? And then take that money, repatriate it back to the continent and buy a damn safari in South Africa or something like that. So why wouldn't I do that? Because what? Pull the plug in America and forget it? Nah. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use both places, and I'm going to use them in my favor because it only makes sense to me. Now, for others, given on that situation, all right, but I think it would be smart and behoove of people to find it, because one difference thing about the continent, and it's not, I know Brandon knew a gentleman who was building out condominiums for people to rent, yeah, and that was a multi-unit. It was, commercial scale though, but the same thing. If you're going back to Africa, you buying a big mansion with the gate up looking like District 9, the movie, that's not going, you know what I'm saying? What's that doing? How is that even going to be generating you any type of capital, right? So when you go to the continent, let's try to figure out ways how to provide a multifamily or apartment complex there too, right? So if you get into it in America, you understand it, you understand your way around it, you probably take that skill set and bring it back to the continent with, of course, revising it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I sent the link out. I'm just waiting for you guys to call in. People who've asked for the link, I've sent it out, so I'm waiting for you guys to call in. Someone's asking, what cap rate does he target for his investments, properties?
Just whatever cash flow, and it depends on the strategy. There's different ones. So I usually stay around the cap rate, especially since they don't apply, because a lot of ones I do house hacks, so they have to be primary residents versus the commercial sector when that cap rate is a really an applicable factor. But you can apply it to that, but it's not really as important as it is when you go to commercial. So I try to find the best market, punch in the numbers, and then go from there, Okay. Stack the deck in my favor.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, that's the key thing I told D that I wanted to do, reiterate the assets over liabilities. Once again, a lot of stuff that we're taught about money, we don't even talk about money like that. Like, how are we going to understand money if we don't even talk about it? We be talking about the Egyptian gods and what somebody need to do when they come from the tundra and across the Atlantic, and then who said what when Kunta Kinte was in the, where's the conversation around money? And I'm not even talking the only time we talk about money is when they drop some new shit on us called Bitcoin, and then we like, oh, you heard about Bitcoin, and then whatever it is, then we move into the next one.
I mean, you know what? I told people this. I don't think Bitcoin is as popular now as it was in 2017, especially amongst our people. 2017, everybody was talking about it. Then once it crashed, people gave up on it.
Maybe it might have been a little bit more realistic, but now the numbers is dumb high. So who gonna be talking about 80 grand? Like, I ain't talking about no damn Bitcoin. I mean, for the average person, right? So yes, but we don't really talk about or conversate about money a lot, right? There's entire channels like Bigger Pockets, right, that are just real estate investors, and they're like 3 million deep. And they utilize that network to build with like-minded people towards financial independence or whatever anybody's goal and agenda is in the real estate sector, whether it's from lender, broker, whatever, right? And they have their own complete different network, and they talk about it. They have podcasts about it. They live, breathe, sleep, write books and novels about it, right? They produce a lot of content around it, and they talk about it specifically, right? Now, we come to our space, and what are we talking about? Hey, man, when you say this at the right tone. Hey, when last time you came on, you talked about my family. Like,
Right.
it's all this other stuff. And it's like, no, it's not even any applicable information for people to go back to the continent. Like, how can I take that back to the continent and become successful? Where do I go? And that's why I respect your platform. And we want to get shout outs to your real estate brokerage platform so people can actually be able to acquire property, right? They'll be able to find good deals, right? They'll be able to find a reliable and, people who have credentials who could provide good at housing and accommodation for them, right? Whether it's even rent or purchase, right? You end up using that channel and that platform as a tool so people could understand how, who, what, when, where, why, and how about a property in Africa specifically. Now that is going to change the situation. That's going to help people to the highest extent. And yeah, I hope you're pulling it up. Exactly.
Mhm.
So this
So
is
guys,
it. Go ahead.
so people who are interested in acquiring real estate on the continent, make sure you go to oneafricaproperties.com, oneafricaproperties.com. This is a startup, me and my business partner. So what we're doing, we are building, I would say, the MLS of Africa. Because I know it could be a little muddy sometimes when we're trying to acquire a property in Africa. So we're creating one central space where you guys could go and look at properties, and we will connect you guys directly to the agents and the sellers and streamline the process. So it's growing every day. We're adding more listings. So go to oneafricaproperties.com. Again, oneafricaproperties.com, everyone. All right, let's bring the brother Comedic Wealth on. Comedic Wealth, go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's up? What's up? I want to say first, I appreciate you guys. I always watch your channel every day. I got on here live before, and also I watch obstacles to opportunities as well every time he drop, you know. So pretty much, man, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I learn from you guys pretty much every time you guys go live. And I just want to say about the property taxes. So about the property taxes, the cheapest property taxes in America is in Hawaii, and I believe it's like a little under 1%. So if we're talking about generational wealth, um, that's going to be hard to build that because if you can't keep up with the taxes yearly, and that's just a starting price, we're not talking about if you don't cut your grass or like the starting price for someone tax lien investment, the 24% interest every month, that would pretty much interfere with what you're trying to build. So what I tell people is instead of investing in America, invest in Africa. But also, if you're going to be diverse, you got Turks and Caicos, no property tax. Bahamas on a family island, no property tax. Virgin Islands, no property tax. Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, Panama, Barbados. And with these places, like Seychelles is a honeymoon location, so we're doing like 400 a night with vacation rentals. And the same thing, Mauritius is cheaper. That's because the demand is low. But like I said, I use the same website you guys use for finding properties, and I use most of your strategies, obstacles, the opportunities, but with my twist on them as well. Yeah, man, and it's easier to go with these tax-free options because it's easier to set up. You don't have to worry about all of the other stuff you got that goes along with that. However, if you're going to invest in America, I would say farmland, where there's like legal marijuana or and like recreational, and then sell it fast. Don't hold on to your property here. We're also importing. We're growing tomatoes, importing them to Europe. We're it's a lot of stuff you can do. It's a reason why they try to keep us away from the farming, you know. But I would say what we do is we buy when we buy property in America, we buy farmland like in Virginia. You know, for 3,000, we grow our crops, ship a solar powered home on there, and then I sell the land for about 80K. So that's what I do, and then from there I buy the things you're talking about in Africa. You know, so I feel like you're sharp, man. Obstacles, the opportunities. You're the only one besides Diners on YouTube that's pretty much talking about wealth building in Africa. Just stay strict, man, because they're trying to get us with these global resets. You know, everybody can't afford the taxes, you know, when they do that. But that's all.
Nah, thanks for your input, brother. And I think your strategy with a twist on it is definitely, a part of it. Like that's what it's all about. Come in, add your different perspective, your twist. You coming in here applying your intelligence of where you see an aspect, and you're moving into other markets where you don't have to deal with this type of expense like those taxes, and then still being able to generate the same type of capital coming in and compete
Yep.
on that level. And that's a perfect situation. That's a better, like, of course, right? So I
Yep.
wouldn't even argue against that. And diversification is the best thing. And that's why I think it's great when people diversify. And even on my channel, you'll see I'm talking about properties in Asia, right? I'm talking about people properties in Africa. I'm going all over the world because I want us to be a global investors and global thinkers, not just on the level of like politics and geopolitics, but economics. And be able
And
to
they
spread
can't
that
Black
out.
Wall Street us if we're online, So it's more diversified and we're untouchable, if you're online and we're spread out. So just one more example, right? We could start local farmers markets here in America, like all across America. I believe for every $1, it's like 2,500 Tanzania shillings. So imagine how much you can get a tomato for there, right? You resell that here to the local markets or whatever, and then you just do that in bulk. $10,000 worth of tomatoes, ship that to your local farm. You bought for 3,000, sell that to the local farmers. The local markets. We just need the land to occupy stuff. Like for the last thing I'm gonna say. Let's say if you wanted to start a horse stable, right? You buy the land 3K, build a horse stable for 4K, sell it land for 30,000. That's what I do. And then I take that money and then I invest it in the tax-free land like you do. But yeah, man.
All right, brother. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, much love, brother. Thanks.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Comedic wealth.
Peace.
Comedic wealth. I hear you on that one.
Brother, obstacles to opportunities. How do you feel about, I guess, recreational marijuana? That game. Like, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I was about to do what's it called? I was in Pennsylvania and I found a property. I think I didn't put it on my channel, but I do have it in my YouTube archive. But I did check out 100,000 square foot building, and somewhere in Pennsylvania, it was just like a little raggedy, town. And I was going to do not just the farming. I was going to do of course, cannabis growth and processing inside the building, of course. And I just dealt with a little bit of issues when I tried to get the variance and rezone the area for appropriately for the industrial use that it needed and required. But I did, meet, let's say the council or the borough that had to actually protest to with open arms. They were very considerate, but I did that research before. So I couldn't finish out the deal because it was only me and another engineer that I just happened to meet, who was an agricultural engineer, and he was able to help me out with that. But if another person has that, then completely fine. I'm not going to say nothing because, like I said, I'm not qualified to talk down on it. So if a person has that idea and then working it out, I want to see what happens, and if, I'll support them if they make it. Most definitely. I'm not smoking though. I'm not smoking, but shout outs. I support you. You feel me? What was I gonna say about there was another point. Oh, here we go. I think somebody said something about money. Oh man, take a lot of money. Take too much money. I ain't got no money. First of all, there's a girl on YouTube, a younger sister, let me say. Her name is Lily Invest, and she's young. I don't know how old she is in particular, but she's young, D. You understand?
All right.
And this girl didn't have money neither. She's archiving her process in real estate, just an example, right? And she's calling people, cold calling. She got off her booty and cold called, right? So she's out here cool. Yeah, go ahead, hit her with that. Because people sleep on that. I think people don't really understand that cold call. So we're gonna wait till he get. Boom! There you go,
guys. Make sure you go to Amazon.com and go get Sales Motivation 101. Get Off Your Ass, a cold call, written by yours truly, Mr. Dynastamir, Prince Dynastamir. Go and grab your copy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead.
No, so I think that's really important to emphasize cold calling, because I literally watched this girl and young lady take her time and cold call. She got hanged up. A bunch of people didn't pick up, right? And she was like, dealing with it all. And she was able to wholesale herself into $10,000 just by calling. Diet. She didn't have no money. She just cold called and got herself in a situation where she was able to make $10,000 like that. Of course, after calling up like 50 people or so. But what I'm saying is, she didn't need a bunch of capital to get inside that deal. And then, of course, she continued to do other things, but all from the gift of the gab, all from knowing information, doing her due diligence, and taking her time and energy and then investing in something like that. And so I'm saying that there is opportunity even with no money. It's just about, are you poor here? What do you think? I ain't got no money, so I can't do it. There's a bunch of people with money who can't do nothing but lose it. Or they don't do nothing with it, so they lose it the safest way by setting it in the bank. But just because you have money, you can make mistakes and be sloppy, ended up broke. So the most important thing, for this whole stream, I want people to really know is, do both. I know sometimes we talk a lot of jargon about like, oh man, forget everything here. It's hard. Da, da, da. You can't run from it. Africa, it deals with what it deals with also. You're going and why not have that diversification? And why not have those options and opportunities available at your disposal so you can use them to distribute wealth or just, let's say, assets across the chess piece, across the board, the way you see fit. So should you invest in real estate in Africa? Yes. Should you invest in real estate in America? Yes.
All right, guys.
You should do both.
We'll take a couple more callers. If you'd like to call in to ask a question, email is uhuru@searchforuhuru.com, uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. Send me an email and you could call in and ask your question. Again, send me an email and you could call in and ask your question.
And I is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I saw somebody in the channel just now say like, yo, Dinah should have this brother on more often. He isn't making cultural rules. He's only coming with solutions. So people, look, like I said, it's obstacles to opportunity. I'm not trying to give you more obstacles. I'm trying to give you more opportunity. So there's going to be massive amounts of people who think different. Like I don't have time to go back and forth, bro. We out here losing. So all I got time for is to help build and open up opportunities. So just like the brother who just came in, Comedic, right? He said like, yo, property taxes, I did a little version, X, Y, and Z. And then this is what I'm doing in Yoruba, or this is what I'm doing in Caribbean and Turkish, boom, right? I could have been like, hey, but no, bro, in America, I'm not gonna go there. Like his investment strategy, is working. And plus I'm not even well educated in it. Just tell him it's not, right? But he brought another tool to, for somebody else to apply, right? And the same thing goes with the Africa continent, buy over here, don't do it in America. If you feel like that, that's how you feel, that's how you're going to carry it. But do you think like that? We're going to see if you think like that. Now, if you think like that, like, yeah, man, I'm sure I'm 150%. All right, cool. I'm not even going to impress you because you're going to do what you're going to do. But for those who are just sitting back and thinking, like, can I leverage this position? Then I'm talking to them. You feel me? And then they can say, you know what? That's right. I'm going to use this position to leverage because I'm not talking to you on here without no certified proven track record. I show it on the channel. You feel me? So I'm not just coming up here talking to you, but then I'm going to be asking you for, whatever, right? Contributions because, next time you're going to see me homeless on the street. They be like, damn, Bird, you were just talking that. Now you homeless on the streets. Nah, it's not like that. I'm just telling you guys, look, the way we got things set up, we need to talk more about solutions and opportunity, right? And just like your platform, right? The ones you just showed everybody, I hope people just at least go and check it out, right? Give it some click time, give it some clickbait, right? Give it some, put some stats to it, right? Because at the end of the day, there was obstacles, and now you created opportunity. There was barriers for entry level into the real estate market in Africa. You can't doubt that. There's only one lady who's been out there murking the game across Africa. Her name is Pam Golden. You know what I'm saying? She's been murking the game. She's like got all the listings on lock. You understand? She's in like a bunch of great different types of countries. And so you out here competing on that level, and then you're offering people an opportunity so that they can say, I can check this property, view this property, and purchase this property. And I think that's vastly important, because that's not what we talk about a lot. We talk about the other stuff. And I'm not down in the other stuff. It is what it is. But today it's obstacles to opportunity, right? So whatever somebody else wants to do, whether they want to stay in America, whether they want to go to Africa, whether they want to diversify themselves across the board, I'm not against none of that. I'm not King Negro. The only thing I'm here to do is say, hey, this is how I've been able to make it. This is the option that you can utilize. Look at what Dynas has built also. Check out his platform. That's great. Look at what Comedic just said. That's also great. See if that fits your appetite and you've got returns and you're building wealth. And then you can parlay that and repatriate that back to the continent if you want to. If you choose not to, then so be it. Right? But we definitely got to be more engaged in economics. We got to be more engaged with acquiring assets, ownership. And this is what I'm really talking about. Who owns this website right here, Dan?
I do. Me and my business partner.
Boom. Now that's a move. You understand? You own that. And that's like, let's say, I don't like to do this sometimes, but let's say you got the Zillow operating over there, right? A platform where I can really go and type it up, and then I can go see what property is available in what countries, what cities, from what price points, from what categories, and get even more detail. And then you can get the resources, the news, the context. I mean, that's the most important thing. So I think when it comes down to it, you basically build the virtual database pertaining to real estate and pertaining to an asset. So even wait, hold on, stop the show. I remember you used to say that, yeah?
Yeah.
Stop the show. But I want to say that, if you look at your platform, no disrespect to any other platforms, all right? I want to say that as a forewarning, right? But what I am saying is, other different type of marketplaces, right? They offer liabilities on their marketplace, right? Come get my big double T. Come get my big necklace. Come get my my beads or whatever. And I'm not knocking that. Like I said, that's what economy and that's important too. But what I'm saying is, what you're offering with One Africa Properties is a true asset, right? Your marketplace has an asset, which is real estate and land, one of the most important things, right? McDonald's is the big corporation. Everybody knows about McDonald's, right? Right, Dennis?
Right.
But most people would think McDonald's sell burgers and fries. Well, no, McDonald's is one of the biggest real estate owners in the world. And that's their real true value. The burgers and fries is cool and all, but the real wealth they have is in their real estate that they own, in their portfolio. And the same thing goes for this marketplace that you created. It's a vehicle into true assets. So assets over liability all day. Shout outs to One Africa Properties. What's going on, Dream City?
Oh, hey, okay, I'm on. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Now my computer's a little busy at the moment. It'll probably run little slow, so I'm gonna keep this quick. I wanted to ask if either of you guys knew about this. I wouldn't call it a movement. I guess he's kind of like a higher level kind of real estate dude, nomad capitalist. What's your opinion?
I know he is. I know nomad capitalist.
Yeah. So, he's kind of like a I don't know how to really explain his vibe, but this a white dude, really preppy kind of white dude. And he talks a lot about 7 to 8 figure entrepreneurs. Is this the level you guys are talking about? Or are these strategies getting to that level? Also, is there like a certain tax level? Well, a certain tax range that these strategies work in. And if you are at a higher level like that, sort of 7, 8 figures, the taxes for a lot of these strategies probably wouldn't. By strategies, I mean maintaining a U.S. and let's say South African residents or Kenyan residents. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now, and probably if you have any additional questions, other than that, I'll leave.
Yeah, but so the objective of Nomad Capital is to completely pull out of America. So his strategy is, why be taxed for your hard-earned income where you could go where you're treated better? So I mean, his strategy is get out of America, period. Dream City, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's right. But as far as obstacles to opportunities, are you aware of this Nomad Capitalist guy?
No, I just heard of him just now, and then I heard of what Dinans understands about what he allegedly does, but I couldn't speak to what he does in specific because I just am not aware of it.
Okay, do at a certain level, would you say tax burdens become a little too much in America to kind of maintain both residencies?
Well, that's what Nomad Capitalist is saying. He said it doesn't make any sense to do that. So he's saying there's other countries where you could have an even better standard living than America and not be taxed as much. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, like I say, kind of say most of the time when I speak, there's always somebody with a strategy, right? So if he's got that strategy and that's his perspective, cool. I'm not gonna, speak to it or whatever. So okay. But what I was also trying to say is for me personally, right, or for my investment strategy, what I focus on is diversification, right? And even in America, true, there is tax, but it depends on where you're coming at in the bracket, right? So you're going to have an employee, they're going to be taxed relatively rough, I guess you could say. And then you have a specialist. This is really the 6-figure individual, the real educated lane, right? Or let me subtract that. The real educated person, the specialized person, they get taxed the most. And then you have another bracket where you have big conglomerates, big business, or even just medium business, right? And then the next one, which is relatively no taxes at all, is the investors. That's why I don't say I'm an entrepreneur. I don't say none of that stuff. I don't do entrepreneurship. That's not me. That's not my style. I'm strictly an investor because investors have the best tax credits and tax exemptions across the board, even in the United States of America. Many people do it. Now, if you were in places like Europe, well, I know people who are basically in Paraguay making a great way for themselves because of the tax burden is too high and they can't even find ways out. And they're big time developers, or they own, like I said, massive amounts of farmland, and they do like large scale agricultural production. So for me, I know even in America, I have a certain ability to an extent to be able to not have to pay that. I haven't even paid taxes in 15 years legally. So I'm not a part of that clique anyway. So I'm not even having that resentment. So I can understand some people do. But it's all about, like I said, utilizing the tax code in your favor. And then you have to figure out that way. Now, I don't know, like I said, what he does and what he doesn't do. So I can't speak to that. What I also say is other places you said treat you better. Yeah, okay. I'm not against nobody saying I'm going to go over here because it treats me better. But at the same time, if you're gone and you're leveraging it in your own property and they're generating capital and they have cash flow, why not? I didn't pay nothing to get into the deal. I remember some of my deals have cash on cash return of like 50,000%. You're not going to tell me I'm going to go to anywhere else and get 50,000% cash on cash. That's not going to happen. And if it is, then let me know. Shoot, I'm rolling with you too. I ain't even mad. Thanks for finding another way. But I'm talking strictly to numbers, right? Because I'm able to leverage that money that I'm borrowing and then be able to have this extreme amount of cash flow, create a basically business out of the thin air because I signed a piece of paper. A lot of other countries don't do that. You got to have 30% down. Interest rate is higher. I mean, some countries, like if you're a citizen, like Japan or something, their interest rate is like 1.5%, and they don't require much of a down payment. But I'm not Japanese, so and they're not going to give me that loan. I got to come in there unless I'm a citizen and have residence, or not a citizen and have residency, and da 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 da. And they still, have different lending practices or financing practices with me. So once again, I'm using that ability to be a citizen in America and then have access to that finance and use that financial vehicle and then to create a cash flow and then pay down this asset, pay down this debt, and then gain capital from nothing, from me signing a piece of paper. So that's what I would do. And then, like I said, for all the other stuff on the back end, there might be valid points. And that's why I own property across, like in Tanzania and stuff like that. America has nothing to do with my property in Tanzania. So I'm cool.
Wow,
I'm
man.
doing that.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks for answering that question. And, it's really refreshing to, I listen to this guy a lot, that Nomad Capitalist guy, while I'm working in the background. And, it's I always kind of think in the back of my mind, kind of parse out what would be different from a Black perspective, because, he doesn't really deal with too many Black territories, and also, it's really important. Listening to you kind of reminds me I have some work to do, because, you can leverage. It depends on who you are and what systems you use, how you position yourself. So, yeah, thank you. That was a great answer.
No problem, brother. And now I had just a little tidbit, but I don't know. I'm not applying it to this situation. But I just had a recent lunch with a couple of people also, and they were probably the same similar person. And they got into this, oh man, inflation and then the taxation and representation. Look, you can miss me with all that. I know that I can leverage this, I can gain this, and then I can be excluded from that. I see the numbers on a piece of paper. You're not going to catch me into that. Oh, well, they should respect me. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. Look, I see the returns. It's 50,000% cash on cash, right? My return is almost at a 24%. I literally just signed on a dotted line. I was able to call up my friend, right? He got a job. He really ain't got much money saved up, right? I grabbed him, and then I grabbed, grabbed my paperwork, and we went to the lender, and then we got $1.1 million check written right there to go get a property that was almost worth $1.1 million, and it was going to generate somewhere around like $150,000 a year annually. It's ridiculous, right? And all we had to do was sign the paper. No money down, because we was using the city or the state's rebates. So I've been all over the world. I've been to Brazil. That's why I'm telling you, I name off all these interest rates and stuff like that, right? Now, don't get me wrong. It's not other countries. Like I said, Zanzibar, I got property, right? I'm looking into the Thailand right now. I have property down in Paraguay. I know that development projects, since they're so low value, I can buy my way. And then when it's completed, they've almost 10x or 2x, right? Depending on where you go. Or I can rent them out, but the rents are usually not good. So I just sell them. So I bought in for like $40,000, but we sold them for like almost $250,000. And I didn't do anything but just pay as I go. So I didn't need to get no lending from no bank. I didn't have to worry about my debt to income ratio. So you see what I'm saying? There is benefits from going overseas. And that guy is right. You can go to other places that's going to treat you better. But there's going to be some trade-offs, right? Now watch, if you had that property in America that you just signed, remember, and you got the financing, and it's been running down the train tracks for the last 10 years, and it has like maybe 200 $100,000 in equity, call up the bank and say, hey, yo, let me get 150 out of there. And then they say, okay, write you the check. You put it back to your rentals so it can pay off the 150 you just tapped into, and you send that straight to Africa. And you be like, hey, let me buy into that condominium and apartment complex. Or, hey, let me buy over here into Japan, into these units in Tokyo, right? Or blah, blah, blah. Call up UOB, United Overseas Bank in Singapore, or, in Singapore, and just tell them like, hey, give me that interest rate. What is it? Y'all saying at 3 point, I got to pay 30% in. Let me get a property in Hong Kong. Like, that's how you can, play it. Once you got that amount of capital and you're able to pull out the line of credit, because you ain't doing nothing for it besides renting it out, and people are running those errands for you. Even the excuse me, I know I'm rambling, but even the property, even the property manager, right? The property manager is going to come to you with a sheet showing you like, hey, here's your cost segregation, here's your depreciation. This is everything you need to do to go to the government to get your exemptions. They just put it to you in a file. All you got to do is turn around to your CPA and be like, yo, here, take this. And he's going to be like, yep. All right, no expenses. All right, cool.
Wow.
You're going to be in the hole for a while. And then, like I said, depending on how much you invested into like real estate, you just like, I'm on Zillow and I'm on Redfin all the time, right? If you're like got like somewhere around a certain amount of hours, because it changed, so I'm not going to put the number out there, then the government's going to let you take that money that you are in the hole with in your business, right, in your real estate, and then pass it over to your personal income. And then you get your income statements, and now you crediting that against that too. So you're not paying any taxes at all. It's just about, like I said, listening to people like Tom Wheeler and all these other different types of CPAs that are trying to give you advice on how to utilize the tax code in your best benefit, right? And a lot of people, like those other people, I'm not saying they do or don't take, because I don't know what they did, but what I'm saying is maybe they have too much money, right? But people with too much money in America don't pay taxes, right? So that's not the damn problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just maybe they're somewhere else in the ladder and they haven't figured out how to break through and then strategize their way into the tax code and then basically break that Da Vinci code. But once again, like I said, there's never going to be a situation where you can go to I'll end on this, Daddy. There's never going to be a situation where you could go somewhere else and be like, hey, I'm going to sign on this dotted line and you're going to give me a line of credit of whatever X amount, right? And then you're going to go to the state and be like, hey, guys, y'all going to give me 5%. I know I got to do 3.5% down and I got closing costs, but I'm going to use the state grant and then I'm going to get that 5% paid off. And then I'm going to use the realtor from the bank, right? And then they got this little rebate thing like Navy Fed Realty Plus, right? So I used one of their realtors and then they paid me $5,000 back after the deal. So now I just got a property under contract for $300,000 and I got paid $5,000 to get it. I got paid $5,000 to get it just because most people just go to their realtor. Oh, Shaquanda? She just got a realtor license and they just go to her and they don't strategize. They don't know nothing about these programs and these grants. They don't try to figure out, you know what I'm saying? You got to take your time to do due diligence. So I went to Africa, Kenya specifically. I forgot, dang, I don't want to put the bank out there, so let me not do that. But nevertheless, I went to it. In South Africa, right, you go down there as a foreigner without a permanent residency, right? Mm-hmm. You go there and they'll let you do 50% down, right? So they'll give you a loan for $10,000, right? Mm-hmm. And then you pay the other $10,000 if the property is like $20,000, right? So if it's $100,000, they're going to give you up the financing up to $50,000, right? So that's how they roll in South Africa. But in Kenya, they don't rock like that. You see what I'm saying? So they don't have that unless you're permanent resident and you have work and you got to like be there. You feel me? You can't just be a foreigner. So without the immigration, right? So then I went to him and I said, hey, look, man, South Africa does this. And I got 50% and this is the developer. You know them. They do massive amounts of projects. And then we're like, She went back to the bank, right? Then she came back and said, we can work something out. And then I was like, what can we do? She said, you know what? I talked to my manager. He worked it out with the bank. We don't usually offer these programs, but we'll do the 50%. Just because right?
Nice.
Especially around this time. You feel me? But I knew what I was talking about, right? I told her that I had property over here in America, da 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 da. You feel me? So once they heard me, they were like, he sound credible.
Yeah.
And then and of course, if he brings the finances, they're looking at my paperwork and they're like, oh, well, it's a win-win. So even in that place, in that institutional bank that really didn't have that service before, they created the service because they saw it was a need for it. I was educated and reliable and creditworthy, and then they just made it happen. So this is what I'm saying. You make things happen in other things. And when you come into other, demographics or place, right, you could probably even rewrite the rules that they have just by, like I said, being a global investor and then leveraging that. So the new slogan for us is not to be an entrepreneur. We don't want to be that. We want to be investors, and we just invest in business entities, stocks, bonds, not so much, but real estate and anything else that will actually give us assets. My bad. I was rambling for a minute.
Wow.
Excuse me in the chat. Yeah.
Nah, he wasn't rambling.
No, that was all. He right. That's all great information. I actually didn't catch the beginning of the stream. I need to go back. This particularly Tom Willard sounds like somebody I need to look into.
Yeah.
And check everything you said about. I'm have to do. I'm have to read what I'm saying. Search the clues and find out which bank you're talking about, but also in Kenya, but also
Okay,
so
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I think I'm working a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here.
And I share also on my channel the developer Has Consult is a crazy nice developer. It's known across Kenya for just completing great projects of high quality. It's never like, a situation. Once I tell people like I'm investing in Kenya, even Kenyans, they be like, oh, be careful. I say I'm dealing with Has Consult. They say, oh, never mind, they good. So I mean, that development company is a great company. So, and if we talk offline, then I can shoot you what I was talking about as far as the banks. But like I said, the most important aspect to all this, man, what I'm saying is people be getting us drummed up on some, like, Nick Cannon, the drummer line. They be getting us drummed up or getting our battery for all this taxation without representation. Look, I got that. And I hear you, right? But like I said, I traveled, I lived over 50 countries. I've been all over the world. Just even before coronavirus, I was in 4 different continents, right? And I was living there. I wasn't just like taking a picture and leaving. Even tomorrow, I got to get up and I'm in Israel right now. I'm going to go check out some land investments in Israel. Now, would I probably buy them? No, but I'm going to be more knowledgeable about real estate across the world than just having it in America. And that's it. I got options. It's obstacles to opportunity, man. So whether the West be doing whatever, I go to the East. And if the East is tripping, then I go to Africa. But Africa's home. But what I'm just saying is I'll be able to leverage all those positions. So that's what I want us to do. We basically inhabited the entire planet, right? So the whole damn thing is ours, man.
Thanks a lot.
All right, no problem, brother. Thank you. All right. Obstacles to opportunities. We'll go ahead and close out. Let everybody know where they can subscribe to you at and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. So my bad, for about going on and on. But when I just get in that real estate talk, man, I'd be super excited. So once again, everybody, I know I've been looking over this way. My screen's just over there. But once again, y'all can hit me up. Obstacles to opportunity. I kind of tell people the only place in the world where a man can go where he can hotwire his brains to his balls and make shit happen. All he has to do is have a vision. So you could come in there and right on the channel, we define the difference between guns and butter. You remember that, Diane? Guns and butter. That's the only place where we define the difference, man. So if you come on the channel, it's got, DIYs, do it yourself, how-to guide. I show you how to do a lot of these things. I show you the links. I take you through. And that's what most of the channel's about. I mean, I'm cool on the politics and everything, and I'm not like disrespecting people who are in that lane, but that's not my lane. It's only obstacles to opportunity. I want to show you guys how to turn all those obstacles in which you had before and then turn them into opportunities. Everybody has ups and downs. but it's really matters about what we do right here, right now. Yo, shout out to Dinas for putting me on the platform, hosting me once again, man. Yo, and if you don't do anything, you ain't got no money, you broke, you don't see nothing but obstacles, get off your ass and cold call, because that's the only thing you can do. Cop the book. Don't only get the book, but understand the book and live the book. And then at the same time, you already know. You already know. So if you take that mentality and you go to the continent, nobody can defeat you. So once again, check out the book, not just because I said so, because I think it's vastly important, and it's a mentality that you need to gain. Much love, much respect to everybody, yo. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hearing me ramble. And thanks for just hearing my perspective, man. Much love and everything's appreciated. And everybody else who brought something to the channel and had a vision and an opinion and a strategy, yo, much respect. Keep doing what you're doing. Nobody knows the answer to everything. I don't know everything. I don't know how to solve the global. No, that's not me. I only know what I know, and I build with those who want to build. Let's go.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Hulu. Peace.
Wow.